Okay, Vitalina, hi.
Hi.
Um, where did you learn English?
Well, actually, at my university in Zaporozhye city,
Okay, and where else have you visited in Ukraine in your life?
where I've been to Ukraine.
Yes.
Well, I've been to Lviv, to Kiev, to Odessa, to
Uh-huh.
Donetsk,
Okay.
to lots of cities actually, and
Okay.
mainly the whole Ukraine.
I'm going to ask you questions about the recent crisis with Putin, the Kremlin, and Ukrainian
Okay.
people, and the change of government. How do you feel about Putin?
Um, well, I would say that presently he's an enemy for my nationality because what he's doing is he's trying to capture the part which never belonged to him, which was a separate country.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, I think that he'd better to consult some doctors
Mm-hmm.
because, to my mind, he has mental diseases. Well, and I hope that recently
Mm-hmm.
he will be out of power.
Mm-hmm. Very good. As far as mental diseases, what do you mean? What's the symptom?
To me, he doesn't look like an adequate person.
I see. Just his demeanor.
Right. When he says that Ukraine is a part of Russia or that several centuries ago we were one unity,
Uh-huh.
which is stupidity because always consisted to different, we call it in Russian language it calls княжество, right?
Okay.
So he says that there was Kiev Rus
Mm-hmm.
when it never existed. There was Киевское княжество
Uh-huh.
and Moskovское княжество,
Uh-huh.
which means like Ukraine, which was called Kievское княжество,
Uh-huh.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And Moscow. That's it. Never it existed like that.
Okay, so what language do you speak here in Zaporozhye where you live?
Russian.
Does most everybody speak Russian that you hear speaking on the street or your friends?
In this region, I guess about 98% of people,
Okay, you speak Russian, but you consider yourself Ukrainian, correct?
for sure.
And would you say that's how the other people here in Zaporozhye feel?
About Putin,
No, about themselves being Ukrainian, but they speak Russian, but they are Ukrainian.
I hope so, but we have quite many Russians here as well, which is actually a historical reason because 70 years ago, um, when there was I don't know how to say genocide.
Okay,
Right. When there was a campaign against Ukrainian people
right.
in 1933,
Hmm.
right? So our villages were empty, our cities were empty, and what actually Russians did, they took their people to these territories. So, and as a result, we have quite a lot percent of
I
Russian
see.
people here.
I see. This
That
would
is the
be
reason I speak Russian because I hear it since my
okay.
birth.
Okay. So, so many people, Ukrainians, were killed during the Holodomor in the 1930s,
Right.
and then other people from other parts of Russia.
Mainly not in cities but in villages. Because at that time, again, in cities, there were some Russians,
Hmm.
which is more natural for Ukrainians to live in villages to
I
live.
see. I see. Okay. So today in Zaporozhye, for instance, or these other cities where you've been, like Kiev and Donetsk and Lvov, where have you been where you actually hear people speaking Ukrainian most of the time?
Most of the time.
Yeah.
Center part of Ukraine and west of Ukraine.
What would some of those cities
But
be?
it's hard to say exactly. For instance, if you talk about big cities in west of Ukraine or right in east of Ukraine, for
Uh-huh.
instance, right?
Right.
So people in cities speak Russian.
Even in Kiev, for instance,
No, in Kyiv, not.
they speak Ukrainian.
Right, mainly Ukrainian.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But for instance, if you take villages in the same region, in Zaporozhia's region,
Right.
right?
Right.
So all people in a village speak Ukrainian.
I see. Okay. Um, have you ever seen Russian television news programs from Russia?
Right, I did.
And
On the internet.
on the internet, you watched them. What did you think about them?
Again, I don't know. It's like their minds are occupied by Putin.
Okay,
Propaganda,
it's not true. The things you see.
definitely not.
And when were these news programs that you
To me,
saw?
it's even like, I watch it for fun. Although I would say that it is both, it is sad, and at the same time it is fun
Yes.
because um, they show one the same situation even between their channels in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
So all those stories are made up,
Uh-huh.
and when you are living in this part of the world and you know for sure what is going on, to see all that on the internet and to listen to their liars,
It's incredible, huh?
incredible.
Uh-huh. So you've watched some of these programs recently, like in the last month or two?
From time to time, I would say 2 weeks ago.
Okay. And what month would that be? 2 weeks ago? That would have been April, right?
April, right.
During April 2014. Okay. Do you think Russia is a free country?
Not now.
Hmm.
Probably never be.
Okay. Have you felt during your life that Ukraine was a free country, as opposed to how the situation was in?
I guess it was free country for 2 months recently.
Oh, since the new government, you mean?
Right.
Since Yanukovych.
No, not since. Since government came.
I see. How many leaders have there been in Ukraine since Soviet times? How many
Four.
presidents?
4 presidents.
Okay. And that would be since 1991, something like that.
Right.
Okay. Oh, where do you hear your news in Ukraine generally?
Mainly I use internet.
Okay, and what about your mother and your friends?
About news.
Yes,
I
where did they hear
guess
the news?
they depends. As for my friends, the same internet.
Okay.
Because different opinions,
Mm-hmm.
different points of view. So you just find information on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
As for my mom, I guess she's more addicted to watch news on TV.
I see. Okay. How do you feel just generally among your friends and family about whether people would want to be part of Russia?
Among my friends, among people I know, there is just one person
Yes.
who is not against being a part of Russia, and
Uh,
that guy he's 56, and the majority of his life he was living in the
so
in Soviet Union, right?
yes.
So probably that's the reason,
Oh, I see. Okay.
because he's like pro-Soviet.
So other than him, you don't know anyone who would.
Anyone.
I see. What do you think about the situation in Crimea? Do you think it was different in Crimea as far as wanting to be part of Russia?
I don't know who wanted to be part of Russian Crimea.
Yeah, okay.
Probably there were some people, but again, they are ethnic Russian.
And
Well,
I see. So could you say that they were a minority, or you have any idea in Crimea?
definitely not majority.
Okay. Um, so generally, you would say that your friends and people you know feel like you do about Putin and the people in the Kremlin.
I can't say generally because Ukraine is a huge part of Europe, so it's not a small country. Some
Yes.
people think that France is bigger than Ukraine.
Yeah.
When I have to explain people that Ukraine is 4 times bigger France.
Uh-huh.
That is a huge territory, absolutely different. There's different mentalities, different nationalities,
Mm-hmm.
and I can't say for everyone.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Talking about my surrounding situation, I would say the majority is pro-Ukrainian.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, would you, if you had a brother or a friend who was of the age and needed to go into the military and was asked to go to the military right now in Ukraine, would you feel that that was a good thing for him to do? To fight against if the
it's
Russians
up to
came?
this person.
Mm-hmm.
If he feels like going to support his army, to support his country, to defend his territory, he's welcome.
Mm-hmm.
If he's afraid, if he considers his life to be more precious,
Mm-hmm.
he may stay in his native place and not to participate.
Okay. Who, according to the news or what you believe, who is it that's taking over the government buildings, like in Lugansk or Slavyansk and Donetsk?
As I know, Russian citizens,
Okay.
because when you find those people again on the internet
Yes.
and you see their photos and you start to find, because they have possibility through the social nets, you may find the person and you see where he is from. Russia.
Really?
Really.
Oh, that's now. Do you know anything about the mayor of Kharkov being shot a few
Mm-hmm.
days ago?
Right.
What do you think about that? Do you think he was? You have any ideas who might have shot him?
I
Or
think that all the Yanukovych is gone. We still have the family, you know,
mm-hmm.
I mean, back
Yeah.
there, right?
Yes.
On the territory of Ukraine.
Uh-huh.
So, and that accident probably it was not connected with what is going on in Ukraine. It was not connected with Russia, but mainly with their desire to to divide property,
I see. Private property.
private property, right? I think it was about business and it was about some meta stuff, nothing to do with
Okay.
political
Mafia.
situation.
Mafia, you're saying, right? Okay. That makes sense. I mean, let's see. Do you feel that President Obama should help Ukraine defend itself from Putin and the Kremlin?
Right. I feel like
He should. In what way do you think would be good for Obama to help?
I guess to help with weapons, which
Okay.
is the best
Yes. You think that maybe he should give the latest or help them to buy the latest weapons
way. That would
that they
that would be
need
great.
that are yeah.
To my opinion, if he doesn't do that, Putin will lose his mind completely. Probably he will imagine himself the second Hitler, being able to occupy the Europe and the rest of the world. So I think there must be some force to let him know he's not right,
Yes.
and there is something to be against him.
Yes. Did you ever hear about Nazis or fascists in Ukraine, like you see the Russian news programs talking about?
I have never seen Nazis, but I've read about them in historical books
Mm-hmm.
dealing with the Second World War.
Yes, but you never actually, in your personal life, uh, you never had any idea or feeling that.
To me, a person which is patriotic, which
Mhm.
stands or who stands for his country, is not a Nazi.
Okay,
To my mind, Russians are mixing two different things:
right,
patriots or nationalists and Nazis. Which
okay,
is, if I'm a nationalist, right, it doesn't mean that I'm against the rest of the nationalities on the planet.
right.
That just means that I love my country. I'm proud of being Ukrainian, no matter what, right? I respect my relatives, I respect my traditions, I respect the country, and me myself as being Ukrainian.
Mm-hmm.
That's what to me means to be nationalist or to be patriotic.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't consider myself to be Nazist because to me Putin is a Nazist himself.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's sleeping and in his dreams he sees Ukraine a part of Russia, which is impossible. Ukraine and Russia are two different countries.
Mm-hmm.
Quite often people don't know about that.
Great. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.